I'll just jump right back into this nonsense. Where was I? Here we go. Jumps back to the scene beginning, or this is where I left off. Anyway, after we finish eating our sandwiches for breakfast, Makoto and I walk by the morning coastline. When I suddenly look up, I see the very picture of a wide blue sky. The springtime haze is hanging in the air all across the sea, making a yacht traveling across the water seem like an illusion as it creates whitecaps. Hey Yuka, aren't we going to see the cherry blossoms again? Makoto asks us with a puzzled face. It's true that on the last 4th, we went to see them, and we went for a second time that day before yesterday. No, we're not going today. Why don't we go to Luna Beach to relax and pass the time instead? Yeah, good idea. I have to meet with everyone at Luna Beach at 5 anyway. Besides, looking at those cherry blossoms just makes me remember him. Huh? The first boy that I loved. I steal a glance at Makoto's face. His expression is a jumble of bewilderment and irritation. But I think that Makoto-kun definitely loves you too. Azumi-san's words from last night repeat themselves in my mind. Makoto also loves me? My heart starts beating furiously. I become conscious of him now because she said that. But Makoto wants you to love him as him, not projecting some person from the past who died onto him, and expecting him to live up to the image of someone he's not from the past. Right? That'd be kind of frustrating if some girl was like, I like you. Why? Because you're just like some other guy from the past. Like, but I can't be that guy for you. He was that guy. I'm someone different. Yeah, but just kind of like, it's okay. It'll work out, okay? As if terrified that he can hear the noise in my heart, I place my hands over my chest. Suddenly I notice that Makoto's expression has returned to normal. You're cheerfully whistling. So it's not like that after all. In the first place, I'm not even certain if I really love him or not. As usual, Luna Beach has no customers. We make trivial conversation with Izumi-san while slurping down coffee. Before long, Izumi-san slightly steers the conversation in a certain topic. Oh, do you know what Laplace is? Okay, we're gonna get Laplace's demon again. Everything has been decided. I don't like those words. It's been like when I talked about time paradoxes with Makoto on the night of the 2nd. Yeah, which is to say, if consciousness is some sort of emergence of some physical processes obeying physical laws that are deterministic, then every thought you make and every decision you make is basically not really a decision. It's just inevitably going to be that way. There is no shoulda, woulda, coulda. Like, not as an expression of how you should go about your life, how you should behave, but more of just like a physical law. Now, if you ask me if that's true, I would tell you no. Before long, yeah, I don't believe that. But before long, due to unusual circumstances, it ends up being arranged that I'll be working at Luna Beach for 1 week during our summer break. Oh, so, Izumi-san predicting the weather. Even I don't know why I ended up agreeing to do something like that. Perhaps I might have wanted to have an objective for the near future. After lunch, we go to the shopping district. We're responsible for helping out with the barbecue. The things that we have to buy are large quantities of beef, green peppers, onions, oil, and beer. However, the car isn't working and the bike broke the other day, That means we have no choice but to walk in order to take care of our errands. An hour or so later, we are carrying full shopping bags in both our hands. We didn't forget anything, did we? No, probably not. But don't you think it'll be too much beer? Haruka and Kurumi can't even drink it. This isn't a lot at all. Are you kidding me? We bought 8 cases of 6-pack beer. Now it's like, can Eric multiply 2 single-digit numbers on a recording? Did I say I have to edit that audio now? Oh goodness. So around 5 minutes and 30 seconds, I have to write down that I have to edit the audio. Okay, if I succeed in doing the audio edit and you're wondering what that sentence I just said was about, I accidentally said my real name. And so I have to go and erase it. You won't know that that's what happened because I'll have erased it. I've done that twice now. It's obnoxious. Okay, continue. All it does is act as extra weight. Oh. So how many cases did she buy? Okay. So, 42 bottles of beer. Kono slouches and drags the bags, looking like he can't take another step forward. So Saki will drink 1, Makoto will drink 1, Izumi will drink 1, and Yuka wants at least 39 just in case. Well then, shall we go back? Even though I say this calmly, I trudge along, full of irritation. You didn't complain when you had to carry the rice and sake on your back last time. I totally don't get it at all. It's not the weight, it's what it is that weighs that much. The rice and sake were important. The beer he scorns. As I continue to walk, I scream this in my mind. In the end, we decide to bring Makoto's bags back by borrowing a pushcar from one of the nearby shops. Luna Beach is already before our eyes. I just remembered something. Oh, what is it? Did you forget to buy something? No, that's not it. It's about last night. Yuka, didn't you have some business with me? You were looking at me with a serious expression back then, weren't you? Was I really? After that, the two of us didn't get a chance to talk alone because after the test of courage, I went to sleep right away. The test of courage. Did something happen? You don't have to restrain yourself. Your problems are my problems, after all. That's not what I meant. What I meant was that there's no point to us working together if we can't share those kinds of problems. But, what? If you don't want me to ask, that's fine. More importantly, about yesterday? That really was nothing. It's just that when I saw you eating, I kinda lost my appetite. What do you mean? Nothing really. If there's something you want to say, then just say it flat out. Then I'll say it. What? At the test of courage yesterday... dodging the question. I saw a severed head. I know. Why? Why do you know that? So that really was an actual severed head? That was rather pathetic of me, if I do say so myself. The thing I was really scared of was for him to ask me to tell him the truth. The barbecue has begun. Everyone is holding a paper cup in their hands. Inside the cups are ice-cold beer, but Kurumi and Haruka have orange juice. Savory smoke begins to rise from the iron plate in the middle. Everyone is more cheerful than last time. Izumi-san, isn't the meat on this side just about ready to be eaten? Maybe, but I think it would be best to let it cook longer. If you do that, it'll get burnt. But no matter how you look at it, the meat you have is rare, isn't it? So she wants it for the dog, I presume. She's trying to manipulate her to getting raw meat for the dog. Crabs. Huh? Look over there. There's crabs over there, right? Wow, you're right. Look, Okin. There's crabs right over there. Do they do crab wrestling here? If this is this sumo crab's training grounds? You people are so innocent. Saki, your meat is rare. Saki's expression shows no signs of gloom, and Haruka is also in an unusually good mood. That's only to be expected. This time Saki and Haruka haven't had one single fight. By the way, Saki, is that perfume you're using lilac? Oh, you noticed? It's a blend of lilac and fruit. Could it be that you're in love with someone, Saki-chan? It's not like that at all. Saki, I wanted that meat. Shut up, it's mine. Besides, I don't see your name written anywhere on it, do you? You could do something about her. I can't deal with rich girls. Yuka? Huh, what? Why are you spacing out? Are you in a bad mood? You think so? Maybe I had a bit too much to drink. Huh, but you haven't even had a single cup yet. Not true, I remember having a drink on the way here. Yuka? I go away from everyone, heading towards the rocky wall. Ha. No matter what I do, there's no way the current me can outright join in that fooling around. Makoto's voice bothers me. Saki's voice bothers me. Seeing the two of them having fun just irritates me. What should I do? At the very least, in the last loop, I never had an emotional day like this. I was never jealous of those two. Could this also be the result of history changing? Or is this proof that I love Makoto? In the distance, I hear the sound of wavelets. I hear them twice as if they're nodding to me. At that time... Yuka-san? Huh? Kurumi? What's wrong, Kurumi? What's wrong with you, Yuka? What are you doing here? Nothing really. Sorry for worrying you. I'm just sobering up. Liar. Huh? Yuka, you're lying. Why? Hehehehe. Kurumi realized your lying pattern a while ago. Whenever you lie, your eyes look the other way. Kurumi's deduction for the reason you're so down is... You've been worried that you've been gaining weight recently, right? Well, no. Huh? Bullseye, huh? I guess you got me. I'm going to pretend like she's telling the truth so that it ends there. As Kurumi thought. Kurumi thought this would happen. Okay. Kurumi takes a can of beer out of her bosom. Kurumi thought she'd help out by letting you drink this. Oh, but don't worry, Kurumi made sure to get the ones with low calorie written on them. It's boring when you're not drunk after all. Oh, could it be that you're surprised? Yes. Kurumi kept these against her chest by putting them in her clothes, and she's cold now. Wait, doesn't that mean that beer is lukewarm now? No, I don't really mind. Really? What relief. I take the can of beer for Kurumi. I open the lid off the beer and gulp the contents down my throat. Kurumi's warmth is still there. Alright, I'll just drink this down and forget about all the bad things. Go back to being your usual self. Yes, I'll drink it all and forget about the bad things. The lukewarm beer makes me feel a comfortable, elated sensation. Finally, the time comes to return to the others. Haruka is carrying a dirty plastic bag. About an hour has passed since then. The party's in full swing. Everything is calm and we fool around and poke fun at each other. It's as noisy as ever. But now, I've already had a lot of beer to drink. As for how many cups I've had exactly, I've lost count. Before long, the alcohol gets to my head and my sense of balance worsens. I begin shouting the same things again and again. Of course, my words are all messed up too. The words I'm saying are also incoherent and get angry, weepy, hysterical, and laughter and mopey. Anyway, I'm hectic. Suddenly, someone taps me on the shoulder. It's Makoto. He sticks his thumb up and points towards the rock wall. And then he slowly walks to the rock wall. It seems he wants to have a private conversation. Although I tilt my head, I still following him with tottering steps. What is it, Makoto? Do you have some business with me? Yeah, there's something important I have to talk to you about. What is it? Is it a confession of love? Idiot, there's no way it'd be that. Come on, Makoto. If that's it, then you should hurry up and okay, this is the same dialogue. Huh? Is sober up? Makoto is standing rock still, dumbfounded. Oops. Same dialogue. I decide to pretend to be drunk. So, what's the importance you wanted to talk to me about? Okay, listen to me carefully and not a word out of you until I'm done, got it? I'm not like an insolent child. Makoto's story concerns Kurumi-chan. In the last history, Kurumi-chan went missing this night. If we went looking for Kurumi-chan and went to the shrine where we found her. In that shrine we saw the talisman, which was a trigger for our start of this infinite loop. Which we know from other endings is not the trigger. But if the game just ended with Yuka's ending, we would just kind of leave it that way, and it would be the trigger because nothing would contradict that. You just kind of assume that if nothing is contradicted or there's reason to believe otherwise, then it's true. In other words, in order to make sure we don't repeat the same history, you can't let Kurumi-chan go to the shrine. What he's saying is that Kurumi-chan's disappearance itself is a bad event. In order to prevent that incident from happening, Makoto wants to watch over Kurumi-chan for the entire night. That's his plan. So that's it? You'll help me, right? Of course. Did you even understand a word of what I said just now? It's fine. Just leave it to me. Makoto shrugs his shoulders. He might be thinking, I should have waited until she sobered up. And at that time, the sound of water splashing echoes. This sounds exactly like the one I heard at the last barbecue. I didn't turn around to understand I don't need to turn around to understand the situation. Saki's hand accidentally slipped and she spilled the beer in her paper cup on me. Huh? Me? But I'm right here. Which means I try slowly turning around. By the iron plate, Saki is holding an empty paper cup and the beer has landed on Kurumi. Because I wasn't in the ring of people, the person who was next to me originally, Kurumi, was directly hit. Hey, Saki? Sorry. Everyone becomes completely silent. I'm really sorry. She sounds genuinely apologetic, meaning every word. As a further gesture of apology, Saki begins to wipe the beer off of Kurumi's clothes with a dish towel. Okuhiko doesn't make his stupid joke and keeps his mouth shut. Naturally, Haruka also stays put, not showing any signs of agitation. Just then... Gee, Saki, are you sure you're not drunk? It's the same dialogue. Same monologue. Exactly the same as Makoto's monologue. Maybe a little bit different, so she's giddy. It's a little later, but Makoto and I begin to laugh much louder than the others. After that, the laughter doesn't cease until the barbecue ends. Okay, number 6, Reason for Infinity. After that, we left the barbecue in a cheerful mood and returned to the lodge. We were reluctant to break up at Princess Beach and end the party. Well then, why don't we all go to the lodge and play cards? So we decided to accept Izumi's proposal. We had played so many rounds of 7 bridge that we lost track of time. In the end, everyone got tired and fell asleep past 2 in the morning. As usual, Haruka's in her own room and Okuhiko's sleeping up in the loft. After the game was over, Saki returned to her summer house alone while rubbing her sleepy eyelids. Truth be told, it seemed she wanted to stay overnight at the lodge with everyone, but unfortunately there wasn't enough room for her to sleep. Izumi is using the living room sofa, while Kurumi took Makoto's bed. Makoto doesn't even have a place to sleep, so for tonight he's sleeping on top of the hard floor. As for me, I'm next to Makoto right now. We're sitting on the floor of his room, our backs leaning against the wall. Kurumi's sleeping soundly in front of us, breathing quietly. We're gazing at her peaceful, sleeping face. But aren't you glad? I whisper this without taking an eye off Kurumi's face. About what? About Kurumi. She played cards with us the whole time. We didn't have to specifically watch out for her that way, right? Well, yeah. Judging from her sleeping face, I'm sure she won't wake up until morning. Yeah. And we haven't gone back to that shrine this whole time, right? That's right. Feels like a happily ever after is coming our way. Hey, say what you like, but don't you think it's too early to feel that way? Really? Yeah, we still have to make 3 correct decisions in a row at the end. We haven't got to the first critical one yet. Just to be safe, why don't you stay with me tomorrow night? You don't trust me? It's not like that, but then what is it like? I told you it's just to be safe. So you really don't trust me. He doesn't trust me. When I think about that, a dull pain hurts my heart. Just hold it right there. How can you expect me to trust you when you are the one who broke our promise on the last 6th in the first place? That was, don't come here ever again. Even though you said that in front of the shrine. And the Makoto seems to be taken aback by his own words as he gasps in understanding. Say, Yuka, I still haven't heard it, have I? Your reason for wanting to go back to the past. But that's alright. I don't even know what it is. You never even told me. I'm telling you it doesn't. Even so, there's no way I can trust you. I don't know your reason at all. I have no guarantee that you won't go. In my mind, that scene passes by. Makoto's shouting causes Kurumi-chan to turn in her bed. Makoto, you're horrible, Makoto. I get it. I'll tell you everything. I say this and slowly get up. I don't want to wake Kurumi-chan. I quietly leave the room. Makoto follows right after me. I sit down in the center of the short staircase that leads to the terrace. Makoto slowly sits down next to me. The biting cold night wind nips at my ears. I'm cold, and it's not entirely the wind's fault. The stars filling the night sky emit a cool and clear radiance. It's the same sky as that day. The stars continue to endlessly shine. It's as if they're resonating with my still unhealed pain. Before long, I purse my lips and cut away the last of my hesitation. I quietly gaze at Makoto with a soft voice and start sincerely explaining everything to him. Okay, probably the same dialogue. Makoto stands up while shaking his head. His shoulders slouch. He stares off into space, not looking at anything. He staggers up the stairs. Makoto? I speak as he ascends the stairs with unsteady feet. However, Makoto ignores me as he silently disappears into the lodge. I stare at the dark ceiling in my room while lying on the bed. I can't see the stars in this pitch-black room. It's quiet. The only sound that reaches my ears is the ticking of the clock, reminding me of the passing time. Darkness and silence. Well, wrapped up in both, several scenes run through my head. If I could have one wish granted, in the past I would always think about that what if. I want to go back to that time once more. The past me wished that, in order to grant the unfulfilled desire I've held for a long time. Are you over him, that boy, I mean? I'm not over him. I'm really not all right about it. I still haven't broken free of it. Quite the contrary, it's tied me down to the past of that time. For a long, long time I've been trying to forget it. I wanted to tell him I love him. It's like, I needed to tell him no matter what. That is one eternal wish. You're telling me that the only reason I've continued to be toyed with like this is because of your selfish emotions. These past 10 days, no, it could have been 10 years or 100 years for all I know. For that whole time we've been stuck like this because of your reckless acting upon such ridiculous and childish emotions. To tell the person you love that you love them, I also wanted to tell him those words. Was it really that bad of a thing to do? Gradually I began to question it more and more. For that purpose, the only reason you did it, for that purpose? You're wrong. Wrong, then why don't you tell me what I'm wrong about then? It might actually be a bad thing. If I could have one wish granted. In the past, I would always think about that what if. What does the current me wish for? As I'm gradually being lulled into sleep, I recall the night I saw the shooting star with Makoto. Yuka. I hear someone calling my name. If you don't get up soon, you'll be late, right? Late? Once I realized the meaning of those words, I jumped to my feet startled. Okay, I make out Haruka in my still hazy vision. Haruka? Good morning. Good morning. I do my hair up as I say this. Why would I be late? Because it's already the promised time. The clock's hands are already pointing at 11 a.m. We made a promise last night, didn't we? That we'd go to Luna Beach for lunch? Is that right? Yes. I don't remember that at all. Usually when the game says that, it's because it didn't happen in the game and you shouldn't remember it either. Okuhiko has to treat us too, so why don't we hurry up and go? Okuhiko is? Because of what happened when we played Seven Bridge yesterday. Now that I think about it, didn't we make some kind of bet yesterday at Seven Bridge? Seems the bet was about today's lunch. And Okuhiko lost? You don't remember? No, not really, I was drunk, you see. The truth is, I was worried about Kurumi, so I wasn't really paying attention to what was happening. Come on, let's get ready. I'm sorry, but... I'll pass. Why? Well, that's... because I have a hangover. Iruka let out a light sigh. I see, so you and Makoto won't be coming. Makoto too? He wouldn't wake up, no matter how many times I called his name. So Okuhiko said to leave him. So that's it. Well then, we'll be going now. When I nod, Haruka slowly walks towards the door. And the moment she guides the doorknob, she turns around as if she's remembered something. It'd be best if you washed your face quickly. Huh? Because you've got tear stains left on it. After I change my clothes, brush my teeth, and wash my face, I sit down on the living room sofa. The sky I see from the window is different than to yesterday's, covered in dense clouds. Just as Izumi-san said, it'll rain heavily tonight. Everything is the same as last time. There's just one difference. Makoto isn't beside me. Makoto had woken up around this time. Good morning. He had made an awkward greeting. What's with that, Makoto? Are you still half asleep? Shall we get ready and go? And then we headed out to Luna Beach. The ocean is a drab gray color reflecting the cloudy sky. It mirrors the color of my heart right now. White would be too cheerful. On the other hand, black is too gloomy, so it's gray. I sigh deeply and head over to the kitchen. For now, I'll try to cook something in order to cheer myself up, even if it's only a little bit. I'm pretty sure that we have eggs, tomatoes, corned beef in the fridge. It's been a long time since I've cooked, so I'm worried that my skills have dulled. After I finish eating, I sit on the dining chair while spacing out. There's nothing to do. On the table in front of me is some after-lunch coffee I placed there. The cuckoo clock in the living room chirps once. It seems it's 1 p.m. I slowly take the cat keychain out of my pocket. My gaze shifts from the cat to the door leading to Makoto's room. There's no sign that he'll rise soon. Is he planning on sleeping forever? If he does come out of his room, then what kind of face should I show him? What words should I use? Should I give him a wide smile and say good morning? Or should I give him an apologetic glance and say sorry? At that time, what face would Makoto make? What words would he respond with? I've filled my stomach, but my heart is still empty. My head is slumped on the table. It seems like I dozed off when I wasn't paying attention. I take a sip of coffee. It's now completely cold, having lost all its flavor. I hear the sound of a clang. I look towards Makoto's room by reflex. The door slowly begins to open as if it were in slow motion. And Saki comes out, right? The one who comes out is Saki. Why did Saki come here? Huh? Why is Saki coming out of there? My eyes meet Saki's. She looks unusually solemn. She then quietly walks over to me. My heart beats loudly like a drum. Good morning. Good morning. Has your hangover cleared up? Yes, completely. Feeling awkward, I avert my gaze from Saki's eyes. I see. Then do you mind if we talk for a bit? I give her a stiff nod. Saki sits down next to me. The sweet scent wrapped around her lingers in the air. You're probably wondering what I'm doing here, huh? I heard about it from Haruka-chan at Luna Beach. She said Makoto and Yuka are acting strange. The two of you were so cheerful yesterday, so for you to suddenly be absent was definitely strange. I was worried, so I came here and I found Makoto still in bed at this time. Yuka, you also seem kinda depressed. I'm not depressed. You're lying. Why do you... You didn't look at me in the eyes. Did something happen? Did you have a fight? No comment again, huh? I'm telling you it's nothing. That's also a lie. Geez, you and Makoto are such poor liars. It's really easy to see through you. You think so? Of course, you haven't changed at all since middle school. You haven't taken a single step forward since that time. That time? Didn't I ask you before? Are you over him? The truth is you're not over him at all, nor are you okay, are you? Ever since then, you've been acting strange. Makoto also seems to be depressed. Koto? I questioned Makoto about it. All he had to say was this. It has nothing to do with you, Saki. Those two really are spitting images. Yuka? I love that boy. Oh, your face tells me that you want to say something. Is there something you want to say? Then why don't you just spit it out? If it's about Makoto and that boy, then I think you should definitely say it. Saki, do you like Makoto? The long silence continues as Saki thinks for what seems to be forever. Before long, Saki slowly opens her mouth. I do. I instinctively gasp. It feels like someone has tightly grabbed my heart and is squeezing it. Well, we've now started playing Surgeon Simulator. No. If all the blood in my body is flowing back, as if all the blood in my body is flowing backwards. It's that kind of feeling. I was expecting this, but it's still shocking. But, Saki cast down her gaze. But it might be a little different than the normal definition of like. Would you call it projection? That's not right either. I don't really understand what you're saying. I know I can't explain it very well with the way I'm talking now. Then I'll just talk about everything one piece at a time. She takes a deep breath and slowly exhales. Psyche leans back in her chair and stares into space. It's as if her mind is running back to the far off distant past. Just like you. Just like you, I also love that boy. I don't remember how it started. Did I yearn for his unbound free lifestyle? Or maybe it's because he had a lot of things I didn't. But that boy loved you. It was frustrating, but the fact remains that there was nothing I could do about it. She says this with a faint voice as she hangs her head. Before a long time passed, I met Makoto here. I told you this before, but what Makoto said was the exact same thing that boy said. And then I realized Makoto had begun to captivate me. But I was uneasy, because Makoto also might have already loved someone else. I didn't want to feel like I did last time, so I decided to try confirming it during the test of courage. So when you were talking about confirming on that day, yes, that's right. Just before we made pairs, I made a secret deal with Makoto. Secret deal? In other words, Saki explained that they planned to release the same hand during rock, paper, scissors, so that way they would definitely become a pair. So that's what those two were talking about on the way to the test of courage. So when the test of courage began, and after the two of us left, I first thought I'd try bringing up the story of that boy. I wanted him to know about just that in advance before I began talking about anything. Well, he already knew anyway. But during the test of courage, you interfered. Huh? I interfered? You suddenly started screaming, so he came running over to you. Did I really? Even if you don't remember it, that's how it went down. Then after that, Makoto-kun said he wasn't going to the hot springs. I also had business to attend to, so I had to give up for that day. And so I attempted to try again at the barbecue yesterday. I think it was just about 8. It was when the party was reaching the climax. It seemed like you and Makoto were considerably drunk. And so I thought, this is my chance. You couldn't tell at all what was going on around you. And besides, you know what they say, in vivo veritas. And so I decided to pretend to be drunk and grabbed Makoto. And they said, if I said I liked you, what would you do? And then he made a troubled face, then went deep in thought. And his face grew serious and he said this, I already have someone I love. And on top of that, he said one more thing as if to smooth things over. If you had asked me that before the seminar camp had begun, my answer might have been different. However, he most likely doesn't remember anything about it. He likely doesn't remember saying that anymore. I was quite shocked. It was as if that boy was the one who said that. But you know what? I was engulfed by the cheerful atmosphere around me, and before I knew it, the pain gradually went away. After that, I thought about it that night, and I realized it. Her eyes lowered, and she clenches her hands into fists. I didn't love Makoto. Why do you say that? To like someone has many different meanings. How do I put it? For example, in Japanese, the word suki can mean to like or to love. It's just like the difference between those two. It's like the difference between those two. Like and love. I'm sorry, it seems like I can't explain it well after all. But you know, this was all because I didn't understand something from the beginning. Yeah, English is silly because it has one word. Love. And it means a lot of different things. And it's confusing. You kind of always assume, like, the worst. Like, if you say to a random person, I love you, they would get creeped out by it. Even though, translated literally, that could potentially not be creepy. You meet a lot more people, don't you? You can fall in love more than once, can't you? And so I finally understand what love is. Are those words or true feelings? My eyelids faintly tremor and I become uneasy. But Saki, you loved that boy, right? Yes. And you see Makoto as a spitting image in all except appearance. That's right. Then, is he just that ugly? Hey Yuka, do you know about lilacs? Lilacs? It's the flower used in Saki's perfume. By the way, Saki, is that perfume you're using a lilac? Izumi-san said that yesterday. It's a spring flower, and it's the sweet scent that's been emanating from Saki. I love purple lilacs very much. It's the flower I use in my perfume nowadays. But in flower language, lilac means the joy of youth. It also means memories of younger days. Memories? It means what it says. To me, everything is nothing more than a memory. In other words, Makoto and that boy are just additions to those memories. The only one I loved was that boy. Her eyes gaze off into the distance. What is she looking at? Besides, didn't I tell you? Makoto has it for someone else. He doesn't even think the slightest about me. Well, there's an ending for you, Saki. Someone else? Someone else? Who is that? Well, there's an ending for all of them. Because this is Yuka's ending from the other perspective, it would be Yuka. But I want to say Izumi. For your information, I still haven't aged past my younger days just yet. Huh? Yeah, I know. What's up with that pause just now? She's thinking deeply even though I didn't ask her anything. In the first place, we're the same age. Geez, I get it already. I say this and immediately offer her the coffee cup in front of me, which is cold. Saki obediently accepts it and brings the cup to her mouth. What is this? It's like iced coffee, only colder. Oh, sorry, I'll go brew another one up. It's fine, I'll do it. Wouldn't that just be frozen coffee? She says that, takes the cup, and disappears into the kitchen. It kind of feels like I'm forcing myself to listen to her, at least that's what I think. I'm much more aware than earlier, but it still doesn't feel like I can fully awaken yet. The cuckoo clock in the living room chirps twice. It's 2 p.m. Before long, Saki comes out of the kitchen holding a tray. On the tray are 2 steaming hot cups, a sugar pot, and milk. She silently places the cups on the table. Instead of coffee, the cups contain black tea. Thank you. Saki silently sits down. She puts sugar in her tea and mixes it with a spoon. She spends a few seconds sniffing up the aroma of the tea, then drinks it. That was calming. She's finally begun talking again. I let out a spontaneous sigh of relief. Well then, now it's your turn. Huh? She says this so abruptly that I don't know what she's talking about. It's your turn to tell me your real feelings. I gulp. You're different than me, right? You're deeply in love with Makoto, aren't you? Saki stares intently at me as if she can see through my mind. Saki and I are the only ones in the room. The dining room is as still as death. Saki's captivating eyes won't move an inch. I wonder if she plans to keep staring at me like that forever until she gets an answer. Well? Her eyes are asking me that. Unable to stand the tension anymore, I slowly shake my head. You're lying. Saki's eyes narrow. You won't admit it? I don't know. I continue to shake my head. You're just trying to deceive me again. How long? How long will this continue? The air freezes over. You've always continued to deceive me. Saki strikes the table with a bang. She leans her body forward and glares at me. I want to know your true feelings. I'm sick of hearing all these lies coming from you. Just earlier I planned on telling you my true feelings from the start. So tell me what's on your mind. I can't wait any longer for this. You've made me impatient enough. Come on! I wish I could tell you. Something within me bursts open and springs forth. I want to know that myself. Of course I do. Like Makoto. But I don't know. I still don't know. Are these feelings are love or not? I don't know if there's something else. I can't tell the difference between like and love either. Everything that's pouring out of me is a scream from my heart. Finally, I feel tears trickling down my face. I have no confidence in my own feelings. Because you might just be chasing after a memory? I silently nod. Yuka, do you know why it is you can't tell the difference? I shake my head. I said earlier, right? It's because you haven't changed a bit from when you were in middle school. You're not that much different from a child who's only just starting to love someone. People must meet others, fall in love, and get hurt. That's how you grow up. But you stop growing up at that time. Ever since that time, I start to feel a throbbing pain in my head. My body trembles violently. I instantly wrap my arms around myself as tight as I can, embracing my body. It seems like you still haven't told Makoto about it yet. About that boy who was in our class in ninth grade, and the incident in June. That is, what happened at the hotel we stayed at the end of our field trip. I instinctively shut my eyes tightly. Not wanting to hear the rest, I try to cover my ears. But Saki pins my hands down. Are you planning to ignore the truth by covering your ears and closing your eyes like that? I violently shake my head like a spoiled child throwing a tantrum. You can't do that. If you do, then you'll never get past the whole thing. Because that boy is already dead. My eyes open and I freeze on the spot. Large tears come pouring out from my eyes. Feels like my heart has been gouged out. If possible, I had wanted to forget that part of my past. Yuka, since that incident happened, your time has stopped. No, perhaps. It might be more accurate to say that you've been coming and going back to the same time. Because at this rate, you'll just repeat the same mistake over and over again. Repeat the same mistake? Over and over again? What the current you needs to do is not to forget, but to move on. In order to do that, you need to face the source of your obstacle. I don't want to remember, I don't want to remember, I don't want to remember. If I remember, then my heart will completely break, I shivered once again. Saki then firmly grasps my hand. As she grasps it, it's all right, don't think that you're weak at all. She says this with an admonished tone. It's all right. Her voice is very gentle and full of tranquility. It's warm. Then she yells at you again. It feels like being held against my mother's chest. Can you remember? My tears and trembling haven't stopped. Meanwhile, in some other ending, this character kills herself by jumping off a cliff. However, I bite my lip and give a faint nod. It was the second day of our field trip in ninth grade. That night at the hotel we were staying at, a fire broke out. I speak slowly as vague memories are awoken from within me. I'm sure it happened to past 2 in the night. I was shaken awake by my friends who were staying in the same room as me. When I woke up, the fire alarm was ringing. I had barely gotten any sleep the night before, so I was so deeply asleep that night that I couldn't hear the sound of the bell. We frantically tried to run outside by going down the stairs, but the 3rd floor was already a sea of flames. The vivid images of the disaster back then are resurrected in my mind. I shake even more violently, Saki grabs my hand even tighter. All we could do was to run back to our rooms. Because we were on the highest floor, we couldn't run up. We frantically waved our hands from our rooms, begging for help, even though we knew it was a futile effort. Everyone was suffering from the heat and smoke that poured into our room from the lower floor. Gradually, it became painful for us to breathe, and our consciousness were turning dim. At that time, something unbelievable happened. That boy arrived. I slowly nod. I thought I was seeing an illusion, because he was staying at the same annex you were in, Saki. But it was really him in the flesh. He ran over to us, carried up the weakest girl, and said this. This room is still safe. I'll be back right away, so wait here. When he finished saying that, he rushed out of the room, still holding the girl. And just like that, he passed through the blaze and brought each girl out in succession, helping them escape. Yes. So they couldn't go through, but somehow he could. While carrying the girls that couldn't go through. Anyway, you were the last one to look up. He took out. Why's that? Actually, he tried to save me second after the first girl. But I told him this. I'm still okay, get the others out first. This room is still safe, right? I'm this group's leader, so I'll go last. Because I believed in his words that it was still safe. So I trusted him and let the other girls take priority. It was strange, but we both trusted each other. When the time came for my turn, I had already nearly lost consciousness. Why couldn't you just follow him out one of the times? I remember he had held me in his arms. I continued to call his name again and again. It's alright, because if you're middle school, the boys aren't really that much stronger at that age. I'm right here. Those were the only words he spoke. Before I knew it, I had regained consciousness and was outside. But he had used up all his strength. And just like that, he breathed his last. There's almost no oxygen in the building, yet he kept going in and out countless times. Thinking about it now, it was a miracle he managed to save all of us. He was so reckless doing it even though he wasn't obligated to do so. Yes, just like Makoto. That's true. Just before he died, he held me in his arms, he spoke his last words. Yuka, all this time I've loved you. I don't know how much time had passed since then. I do because there's a timestamp in the upper right corner. Ever since I finished the whole story, I've continued to cry on and on. My tears are like blood pouring out of my emotional scars, tears from the bottom of my heart, whatever. I hate those kind of phrases. Once again, I clearly remember that day. That unlucky accident, his death, his last words. I wish to completely forget that because the memory was just too bitter. Even so, Saki held on to my hand tightly the whole time to make sure I don't lose sight of it. Even after I finished my story, she's still here. When I finally calmed down and regained my composure, Saki starts talking again. Ever since that fire, you've been scared to fall in love again, haven't you? You're definitely afraid of getting hurt again. You created a shell to protect yourself. As a result, even if you fall in love with someone, you'll be leaving your safety zone. This is cliché! Extremely so. This is like really... Oh my goodness. There's like no creativity here. You've always been unable to take another step forward. That's why I couldn't talk to Makoto about the fire. I didn't want to burden him with that weight. As a result, I feel like Makoto and I are beginning to drift far apart. Try to remember, after that, did you ever fall in love again with someone as great as that boy? I shake my head slightly. I don't understand. At least not now. I think you probably couldn't. After all, you had a reason, right? If you fell in love with someone, you would have had to reveal everything about yourself. But isn't that all right now? You've found someone you can love. Even if it started because of the reason it did, that's alright, isn't it? That's definitely a half step forward. I think the rest depends on your feelings. Now look at Makoto's room. Is he still sleeping? The reason Makoto's like this is because of me. That's right. I did something terrible to Makoto. That's why I think that at any rate, it's already too late for us. It's already a lost cause. Do you really think that? You're always so hesitant, it hurts to look at you. Listen to me. Taking into account the conversation we had just now and your strong feelings on the subject, I don't think it's too late at all. Before long, you're sure to have completely settled everything. No, you definitely will. Why do you say that? Because plot. Let's see. Intuition, perhaps, because my dialogue is actually written by the same person who wrote the scenario. Actually not, but he was my boss, or I don't know. Come on, keep your chin up, Yuka. Yuka Kawashima, isn't your greatest redeeming feature your cheerfulness? Isn't it all going to say, go get back on your feet? Ah, fine then. Saki says this and stands up. And then, the fourth law of Professor Asakura's love formula. Third law of Professor Asakura's love formula. Promises must always be kept. Must definitely be kept. Now what should the fourth law be? Good question. Professor Asakura's fourth law of love. Men are courageous. Women are... Saki stares into space. Before long, I instantly start laughing. I actually want to cry. But I can't cry, because the fourth law is... Women are... Then what should the fourth law be? What are you two thinking about? Hey, were you listening? I wasn't aware that listening was a crime. It's called eavesdropping. This is a private conversation. My bad. More importantly, how about this? Women are charming. What's that? Okay. He said, okay. Good. In middle school one day, when the two of us were fooling around, we thought up the love formulas and their laws. Yuka keeps changing them at will. The fourth law is profoundly memorable to me, specifically because that were his words of encouragement. Another memory of him that I have. Well then, it would seem my role is over. The rest is up to you. She gives me a light tap on the head as she says this. Thank you, Saki. It wasn't a big deal. It was just doing it for my own sake, so it's fine. Just like that, Saki turns around and walks to the front door. A gentle aroma of lilac that fills my nose slowly disappears. And then when she puts her hand on the doorknob... Oh right, I almost forgot. She turns back around. While I'm at it, I'll tell you something good. What's that? The way to tell the difference between like and love. I myself have only felt it once, but I still know it. So what is it? Well, it's... We skipped that part. I sink deeply into the sofa as I blankly stare out the window. In my head, Saki's last words repeat many times. Oh, okay. That's not a bad way to say it. It's not bad. But that kind of makes it such that... Nope. I say that that should be for everybody. So, in other words, that doesn't actually make anybody special to you. Now, out of the womb, man inherently does not treat everybody that way, but will treat people that way that is close family. So it's... Anyway, maybe that will come up again later. After all, humans are very weak creatures, so being considerate of the one you like first and foremost rather than yourself, that's love, wouldn't you say? Just past 5, Haruka and Okuhiko-kun return. At 6, Haruka begins cooking. The flesh is weak. That's quite rare. I think she did this last time as well. Since she did it both times, is this her way of being considerate and trying to help? I don't remember how it tasted last time, so I'm a little surprised how delicious it is. When I jokingly comment she'll make a good wife someday, Okuhiko seems rather embarrassed for some reason. Haruka and I just tilt our heads in confusion. Even though dinner has ended, Makoto is still in his room. The cuckoo clock chirps 8 times. It's 8. Makoto still hasn't come out of his room. Haruka calls out to him countless times, but there's no response. He may have fallen asleep while thinking about something. I'm worried, but as I am now, I don't have the courage to knock on his door. I still don't know what sort of face I should greet him with. You've always been unable to take another step forward. That's right, eventually I'll have to knock. I think the rest depends on your feelings. I have to knock, or the door will never open. I slowly look at the clock while lying on bed. Soon the date will change to the 6th. At this rate, tomorrow will end without any trouble. I've done everything possible in the last 5 days to eliminate the sources of those troubles. Saki didn't get swallowed by the wave, Haruka and Saki never quarreled, Kurumi didn't go missing, we never saw that talisman, and all we have to do tomorrow is not go to the shrine. At this rate, I'll be fine if I just sleep in until noon. With this, everything will end. Everything will end. It'll soon be the 7th, in other words, the last day of the camp. When the time comes to go back, Makoto will have no choice but to see me. At that time, I plan to go out to Makoto and say this, good morning. I'll act very natural, like my usual self. That's what my heart has decided. Yuka, you awake? I hear a voice from behind the door. Haruka? It's open, come on in. What's wrong? It's rather late. I forgot to give you this. She says this and stretches her hand out. She's grasping a small glass bottle in her hand. It's a purple bottle. What's that? Today, when I was returning to the lodge, I met up with Saki. She wanted me to give you this. Oh, thank you. I take the bottle. Perfume? I open it and give it a sniff. A sweet aroma drifts in the air. Okay. It's the kind that Saki always uses. But why? I don't understand why she gave this to me. She said that she didn't need it anymore. I see. Suddenly I remembered that flower language of lilacs that Saki told me about earlier. The joy of youth. And memories of younger days. Memories of younger days, huh? Is she telling me that she doesn't need to remember anymore? Huh? It's what lilacs mean in the flower language. The joy of youth and also memories of younger days. That's flower language for white lilacs, right? Huh? White? Yes, the meaning of lilacs in flower language is different depending on its color. It's something that you see with a lot of different flowers. White lilacs. A purple bottle. For example, with roses. Hey Haruka, what do purple lilacs mean in flower language? Oh, right. Purple means first love. The earlier emotions of love. The early emotions of love? Yes. Something wrong? No, it's nothing. Thank you, I'll definitely accept this. Saki saying, I don't need first love anymore? That's interesting. Haruka leaves the room while tilting her head. To me, everything is nothing more than a memory. My eyelids tremble faintly. Did she really remember? I love purple lilacs very much. It's a flower I use in my perfume nowadays. Purple lilacs, a purple bottle. Purple means first love, and the early emotions of love. In other words, feelings that are only just sprouting. She gave them to me. It might only be a coincidence, but does that mean the perfume has the same meaning as the purple lilac? So Saki really does love Makoto? Even so, I didn't love Makoto. I stare off into space and look back at the clock. The hands are pointing to midnight, the time when both doves should simultaneously chirp. It's freezing. My head feels cloudy and my eyesight is blurry. Before long, my vision begins to clear up. I finally reach the point where I'm able to perceive my surroundings. The lights in the room are still on. It seems like I dozed off without realizing it. I slept on the top of the covers, which is why I woke up chilled to the bone. I can hear the sound of the rainfall outside. The downpour gets more and more intense. I tilt my head to look at the clock. It's past 4:30. I'll just go back to sleep. I get up and walk over to the light switch to turn off the lights. And then I stop when I see the purple bottle I placed on the floor. It's the lilac fragments I received from Saki. I'll go see Saki once morning comes. I'll meet with her one more time and talk. And then, because I'm half asleep, my brain cells aren't functioning properly. Either way, it seems that today's going to be a busy day. For now, I'll just sleep. Click. I'll just get some good sleep, then think about it when I wake up. So I tell myself this, I get back on my bed. Just as I feel myself slipping into unconsciousness, a clamorous sound suddenly echoes. I jump to my feet and look towards the door. It's Izumi. Kurumi's gone. We've all gathered in the living room. An unusual sight. Saki and Makoto are here. Saki is standing with a grim expression. Makoto is sitting in a dining chair with an absent-minded expression. I want to go talk with him, but now's not the time for that. My utmost attention is focused on Izumi. I suddenly woke up in the middle of the night, and then I looked around. Kurumi-chan was gone. Yes. I searched alone at first, trying all the places I could think of. Inside the shop, this is the same dialogue again. This conversation. I've definitely had this conversation before. Yes, this conversation happened in the last loop when Kurumi-chan went missing. If that's the case, my whole body starts shivering. A flashback dashes through my mind. My memories are showing me a vivid image of that scene. The image of Kurumi-chan sitting down in that dim shrine. Why? I don't understand why. Sharp pain starts running through my head. Right now I'm so confused that I can't think straight. I slowly look up at the clock. It's almost 5. Today is April 6th. 6th. 5th. 5 to the 6th. Then no matter what happens, history wouldn't change. Everything will occur in the world. Everything that occurs in the world has been predetermined from the beginning. Even though we plan to change it, the truth is nothing has changed. Aside from our very minor things, nothing has changed. Anyway, sitting still won't get anything done, get anything solved. Why don't we all quickly split up and look for Kurumi? Feels like her voice is coming from somewhere far, far away. A sudden sound brings me back to reality. Hold on, Makoto. Where are you going? At that moment, I see Makoto rushing out the front door. In that instant, it feels like all the blood in my body has been drained away. It can't be. Can't be. It can't be. My body moves faster than I can think. Huh, Yuka? I rush out the downpour, chasing after Makoto as fast as I can. I go flying through the cold, large raindrops. I see Makoto far ahead of me, sprinting as fast as I am, with all of his might. The muddy ground constantly trips me up. Even so, I don't slow down and continue to run fiercely. I've got to stop Makoto. I know where he's going. To that shrine. At this rate, it won't just be Kurumi, but Makoto as well. I bellow as loud as I can. Makoto! But Makoto doesn't turn around. We come out to the coastline. Feels like the rain has gotten even stronger. My whole body is soaked and my arms and legs have gone numb. So we'll reach the T-junction that leads to the shrine. If I reach that shrine, then there's no doubt that history will repeat itself. But that doesn't matter right now. All I want to do is stop Makoto from going to the shrine. The earthquake will cause the ground to shake. The shrine will collapse and we'll be squashed by the debris. I can't let that happen, absolutely not. I clench my teeth to make that horrible scene go away. And return to the free world. We'll see the sunrise of the 7th together. That's right, we promised each other. I've reached the long staircase that leads up to the shrine. I finally caught up with Makoto. Wait! I grab Makoto's arm and slip around so that I'm in front of him. I stand in front of the staircase and spread my arms. Yuka, don't go. Please don't go. Kurumi's in this shrine. So I've got to go. I've got to save Kurumi. I know that. I want to save Kurumi too, but no, I absolutely can't let you. Absolutely not. I understand. The one that Makoto is trying to save isn't just Kurumi. Get out of the way, Yuka. There's no time. Just like that time, he's trying to protect me. Just like he swore he would do under that starry sky. If we go in there, things will turn out the same way again. Nothing will change. We won't be able to return to the free world. Yeah, I know. Certainly that much is true right now, but Makoto takes something out of his pocket. It's the bell, the one Kurumi found at Moon Beach on the 3rd. He drops the bell on the ground. And then, with all of his strength, he stomps on it. All that's left are shattered small metal pieces. They're shining in a puddle. In other words, out of his own free will, Makoto just severed the thread of his life. This is the end. Makoto? I can't go back again. I can't go back to the past. I will end everything here. Makoto's words ring in my heart. I can't go back to the past. So in other words, no. That art asset's new. I don't want that. The desperation I've been able to hold back up until now comes pouring out. No more, I don't want this. This feeling definitely isn't anger. I don't want to lose another precious person. On the other hand, it's not sadness. I don't want to lose you. Nor is it pity, misery, or compassion. You went as far as risking your own life trying to save mine. It's just my plain feelings for Makoto at the bottom of my heart. Please, please. Without a word, he brushes past my shoulder and walks past me. The time it takes for him to pass by may feels long, like it's in a slow motion. In that slow motion moment, I look at his eyes as he passes by me. They're swelling with determination. Where have I seen eyes that resemble those before? In that instance, a certain scene that I remember is reflected before my eyes. A scene dyed in orange. It's that boy at that time, at that place. In the art room. The empty art room. The art room after school before nightfall. I know that this is going to probably give me the uninteresting, the good Yuka ending repeating outcome, but whatever. I've been squinting because of the light from the setting sun coming through the window. Before my eyes, someone was drawing in a sketchbook. It was that boy. Before long, he finished his drawing and presented it to me. It was a drawing of 2 doves flying out of the window. And then, you stay tied down, you can never be free. If you want to be free, then you mustn't be afraid. He said that and pointed outside the open window. Outside were cherry blossoms in full bloom. They fluttered about wondrously, concealing everything in front of them. The light pink petals transform into transparent drops of rain. I'm still at the foot of the shrine staircase. I see Makoto running up the staircase. The pouring rain brings me back to my senses. No, I don't want this. Makoto's going, then I should go in to make sure he stays safe. Suddenly, in the darkness, I see a radiance as bright as the sun. I'm not thinking of myself, but being considerate of Makoto first. In other words, this is... Makoto. I run up to Makoto and grab him by the arm, pulling him towards me. What? Cut it out and get back. I love you. I've loved you all this time. Okay, same dialogue. Then I thrust Makoto away. Makoto falls behind me, dancing in the air briefly before hitting the ground with a thud. Pelting rain beats mercilessly from the sky. While sitting on the ground, Makoto stares up looking dumbfounded. I told him my feelings. This is enough. Bite down on my lip hard, then turn around and start running up the staircase. The one to save Kurumi-chan won't be Makoto, but me. Right now, the one that this weak person known as me wants to protect the most is... It's not myself, it's Makoto. I order myself to keep kicking off the stone steps. Yuka, Makoto is chasing after me. Stay away, please stay away. Stay away. My bitter scream breaks through the roar of the rain and echoes loudly. With all my strength, I run up the staircase and step onto the shrine's grounds. And then without stopping, I run to the shrine with the speed of a hurricane. What? The shrine is completely empty. No way, Kurumi-chan shouldn't be here. Shouldn't have been here. I look around in confusion. I can feel a faint draft of wind. Could it be? I move aside the small altar in the front wall and pass through the hole. Hey, Yuka! I can hear Makoto behind me. This is bad. I've got to hurry. I go out to the back side of the shrine as fast as I can. However, why is this? Makoto comes out from the hole in the wall, and then he surveys the area, then looks at me. Kurumi's not here either. Makoto is looking at me with curious eyes. Mine are probably the same. Before long, the earth begins to violently shake. Our time limit is up. These words flash through my mind. I put my hand into my pocket looking for the bell. Wait, bell? Makoto? Makoto's here, but he has no bell. The tremors increase in intensity. Overhead, small splinters are falling, the wooden structure collapsing. I look behind me and see Makoto staring at this with wide eyes. Although, spelled wrong, although, I can't think anymore, there's still one thought in my head. Just one single firm thought. I wish... to save my game. This is the correct one. We'll be together forever. I take out the bell and grasp it tightly. I'll go with you too. And just like that, I throw the bell into the sea. At the same time, I hear the sound of the shrine crumbling. So this is that story of Greek mythology from that boy, right? The brother becoming mortal so that he can kill himself to go be with his brother after death. With this, everything is over. At that time, Makoto fiercely lunges forward and grabs me, pushes down on the ground and jumps. With that force, we flutter around up in midair. Makoto and I embrace each other as we fall down towards the Black Sea. I see a shooting star. That star of hope makes a clear sound, and finally I lose consciousness. I'm in a black space. I see that. There I find a fragment of my memories, a memory that far-off day when I looked at that clear sky and heard the story about the twins. Oh, okay, yep. The two of them were so close that they were always together no matter what time. So likewise, they wanted to die at the same time. And so Pollux made a request to Zeus. Take away my immortality. Zeus granted that wish, the two of them went up to the heavens together. They became a constellation that shines in the winter skies. I'm in a time crunch right now, so I'm going to do a very, very long pause. Okay, I'm back several hours later. It's a familiar ceiling. I realize I'm freezing. My body is soaked with sweat all over. So very similar to Makoto's internal monologue. I take a deep breath and slowly exhale. The warm scent of wood goes through my nose and fills my head. It takes me three more breaths until, huh? No way. This is impossible. I leap out of my bed and run out of the room. My target is Makoto's room. Makoto is standing stock still in the center of the room. Before long, he slowly turns around. What's going on? Why? I don't know what's what anymore. Makoto looks at me. Those eyes, they're definitely the eyes of the Makoto I know. My head is still racked with massive confusion. You're confused that you're not dead? Makoto timidly raises his left arm. I lean in close as we both look at his watch's face. 7. Sunday the 7th, 5:03 a.m. Yuka, we're saved? Makoto and I exchange glances. No, hold on. It's possible that my watch could be busted. In the next instant, Makoto and I, flustered and still intertwined somehow. Oh, they made it. I think this is legitimately a mistake. The background was Yuka's room instead of Makoto's room. But in this version, in Yuka's ending in the main game, they actually fall on Makoto's bed like together. So they would have been intertwined. And Yuka would not have ran into Makoto's room. She was already there. So yeah, I think there's a bit of a mistake in the writing here. Maybe not. I tend to have a bad memory sometimes, but... Quickly rush out of the living room. Oni-chan? Kurumi? Hold on, what's the meaning of this? When did you two get back? Huh? We've been looking for you. Geez, where did you go? Where, even if you say that? Geez, don't worry us like that. If you went out, then you should have at least told us something. I can't grasp the situation. You saw them run off after Kurumi. Makoto's eyes widen in bewilderment. He clearly feels the same way. There's something we have to ask you. Makoto looks at me and nods. What's today's date? Huh? Hey, Yuka-chan, are you really alright? You asked me that some time ago as well, didn't you? I pause because there's coyotes barking and howling in the background. But it appears that none of it's actually making it through my noise filter. Okay. That's kind of a shame. That would be cool if it was actually coming through. It's Sunday, April 7th. Sunday, April 7th. Then we really were saved. Okay. It takes me a moment to realize that everyone is blatantly staring at us. Makoto and I rapidly break off like nothing happened. My cheeks are bright red. I see, so that's what it was. So the two of you eloped for a night and 2 days. Is that true, Oni-chan? I don't think you eloped should have a duration. Wait, before I answer that question, where did you go in the first place, Kurumi? Where? Yesterday morning. Oh, that? Kurumi was looking for that puppy. It was out in that downpour, so she felt sorry that it had to be outside. Saki? Oh, I didn't realize it at all. The meaning of the perfume, the purple. This line is not in the non-Append story. I don't really get what you're saying. How about the perfume you gave me? It means early feelings of love, or the sprouting of love, doesn't it? Oh, right, that. I see, so that's how you interpreted it. Do you know the song "When Lilas Flourish"? Lilas was a famous chanson created in France. Lila is French for lilac, and Lilas Flourish means that the best days of a person's life is occurring. Do you understand? Just since Lucky pulls me close and whispers into my ear. For me, it's these 7 days, and for you, it's your future. In other words, that's what it's about. To you, the best time of your life isn't over, it's just beginning. I can't look back at the past, can I? Nope. We'll see the sunrise of the 7th together. Today is the 7th. It's the start of the morning. The morning sun is now beginning to slowly rise from beyond the golden ocean. I never realized, well, I've noticed those like shapes on the right side of the artwork before, but I never thought about what exactly are those. They're like giant tetrahedral things. I don't know what those are supposed to be. Will free you from time. That surely meant to be released from the infinite loop's flow of time. No, it didn't. It means you time travel forward in time. At the end of the cape, that was probably indicating the real end of the cape, in other words, in the ocean. Right now, we've been released. Okay, Yuka Curate 8B, Eternal Feelings. Yuka? Blue hue again. With this, everything's over, huh? Nope, there's another game. You're wrong, nothing has ended. Everything begins from now on. Makoto? Oh, the game just started? Okay. For now on, will you always stay by my side? Yeah. So this kind of dialogue. Like, what's with the low bitrate on some of these, on this cutscene? I mean, it's not just that way because the recording's low quality. It's literally low quality the way I'm seeing it, too. It's like a really poor rendering, especially that part just now. This is the background for the clear list in the original files. And not all this concept art made it in. Okay, so concept art montage. Rendered on a time budget. But one nonetheless. Eventually the frame's resolved. So let's look at this. Tips. Oh, Tips is maxed out now. The boy has an entry now. Okay, Yuka's classmate from middle school. He was her first love and is described as being kind in a nonchalant manner, having a slightly affected way of speaking, and above all, a strong characteristic will. He died during the school field trip when he gave up his life to save Yuka and her friends from a fire that had broken out in their school. According to Yuka and Saki, it seems that Makoto's attitude greatly resembles the boy's. Makoto's prejudice towards him, in addition to jealousy, might be due to his congeneric hatred, his disdain for how uncanny the resemblance is. This is off topic, but the night of the field trip, he told Yuka the myth of Gemini, the mortal older brother who died, outlived by his younger brother. The immortal younger brother who could never die. Even though they were similar, they followed different destinies. This seems to suggest some sort of profound meaning. Yuka became captured by an infinite loop, where she herself wasn't able to die, her destiny overlapping with Makoto's. Also, the relevance of every appearance of the keyword twin that spans across the whole story is something of great interest. No, it's because the writers wrote twin a lot. This is not something really to be studied. Oh. Original love technique that Yuka and Saki came up with while in middle school. Dislike persistent men, audacity is essential for guys, promises must be kept. It sounded like she made that up, well, on the spot, and apparently she didn't. There's 48 of them in total, so we'll stop here. Though many of the laws are quite contradictory with one another. This can be justified by the fact that different techniques are based on multiple changing factors such as time, place, and occasion. Maybe. Yuka and Saki also created a series of similar techniques that they called Professor Asakura's love formula. Okay, so this is Asakura's. This is a bit off topic, but in mathematics, formulas exist in order to solve things that haven't been solved. Thus, with this in mind, the name love formula implies that love has no answer. What? No. Okay, the Fat Cat mascot character. Okay. Which, name of a ninja cat who has a gruff face and displays a cross-shaped wound on his forehead that resembles a shuriken. Judging from the fact that Kurumi also knows it, the cat is probably a character in a manga or anime. Since Makoto has never heard of the character, it's fair to say that it probably was from a work targeted at young girls, even though its serious appearance doesn't suit the genre. Whatever. We have an entry on Mobius Strip. Uh... Time paradox. What happens every time you write a time travel story? Because you're not smart enough to make a self-consistent story. Which is really dumb, actually. I take issue with that, but we'll get to that later. Okay. So that's all of the tips. It's also all of the movies, because we have the Yuka Kure Good Inn now, which is the concept art one. We have all the musics. We already did have all the musics. We're still missing all the CGs. We're still missing some scenes. Oh goodness. So there's some Yuka ones still missing. Oh, that was not new? Okay. I thought it was new at the time. Still haven't found this. Is this a bug though? Because isn't there one with Yuka not in it? That's been seen. Still missing these. Okay. Yuka Kure Good in B. Eternal Feelings. Well, I guess we have to find A now. So let's work backwards. I wish for a miracle to happen once more. Now, I'm pretty sure this will be bad end. If the things known as miracles exist in this world, then please, one more time. I take out the bell and grasp it. At that time, Makoto leaps forward, but it's too late. Before I can touch Makoto, I am struck by a sudden impact from above, and then my consciousness is torn to pieces. Well. Is Makoto's perspective now? Oh, okay. He crawled over here with all his strength. He's touching my frail cheek. That hand gradually weakens. Yes, this is definitely some kind of nightmare. I'm still sleeping in the lodge. I'll definitely wake up right now. When I wake up, I'll immediately reconcile with Makoto. Tomorrow afternoon, we'll be riding on the rocky ferry home. Before long, we'll return to our daily lives, and all of these events will just become recollections. College, Makoto and I will meet up with each other and talk about the past. Our current selves will become memories of our future selves. And occasionally I'll open my album of memories and look back at the time I met Makoto. We'll definitely be able to talk about those times with a smile. We might even be able to talk about it with others. Yes, for example, with Saki. I'll definitely wake up right now. I'll definitely wake up. I'll definitely wake. I'll definitely. The life in Makoto's eyes begins to grow dimmer. This is a dream that cannot be woken from. Why? My hoarse voice fills this empty void. In my fading consciousness, Makoto's existence has. I feel the Makoto I know has completely disappeared. Endless tears pour down my face. Before long, the bell gently slips out of my palm. And yeah, Makoto's memories get annihilated, and only Yuka's remain. Okay. So that should give me the bad end now, right? Yuka Cure bad end. Cool. Only one more to go, and that is Yuka Cure good in B. Okay. Let's go back another choice. So in front of the burning hotel, or in front of the, or in the art room after school. I was watching the flames blow up from the windows of the third floor of that burning hotel. That image from that dark night has looked like a depiction of hell. Someone was glaring at that hotel. It was him. If you were to follow his glance, you'd see someone at the windows on the fourth floor. There's a person still trapped inside. That moment the boy boldly plunged into the hellfire. The one left behind in that fire was definitely me. Tears well up in my eyes. Gradually the scenery before me shifts and warps. While my overflowing tears are pouring out, I'm still... Okay, it doesn't let me skip. I'm still at the foot of the shrine staircase. See Makoto running up the staircase. The pouring rain brings me back to my senses. I still can't skip. Makoto. I wipe my tears away and chase after him. I run as fast as I can up the stairs. The rain hits me hard as if it's trying to stop me from going. I won't let the same history repeat itself. By the time I reach the top, Makoto is already running past the shrine grounds. Wait. When he hears me, Makoto stops and turns around. Stay away. Stay here. In that moment, Makoto goes running off. But I ignore Makoto and run into the shrine. So this is like the Yuka bad ending. Wait. The shrine is completely empty. No way, Kurumi-chan should have been here. I look around in confusion. I feel a faint draft of wind. Could it be? I move aside the small altar from the front wall and pass through the hole. Hey Yuka, I can hear Makoto behind me. This is bad, I've got to hurry. I go out to the backside of the shrine as fast as I can. However, what is this? Makoto comes out from the hole in the wall. And he surveys the area, then looks at me. Kurumi's not here either. Makoto's looking at me with curious eyes. Okay, so let's see if this changes. This should be the bad ending, right? Yeah, that's the bad ending. Okay. You're going to pick in front of the burning hotel. Then for us to be together forever. Okay, this is still B. So, it actually doesn't matter what you pick for that second to last choice. It's a neutral choice, okay? At least given the previous choices I made. Oops. Might come into play later. Okay, let's back up. One more save. It looks like this was like the beginning of recording it someday. Okay, here's a big choice. A fated choice has arrived before me. Well, that's saying something. Let's do the opposite choice. Go look for the bell first. I decide to search for the bell first. Hey, Kurumi-chan. What? Why don't we go shopping alone? Huh? I remembered that there's something important I have to do. Something important? I have to look for something I dropped. Something you dropped? Yeah. What was it? That's... Kurumi-chan looks at me with a curious gaze that screams, "What is it? What is it?" It's a memento. A memento of who? My great-grandfather. That's a lie. My great-grandfather is still alive in the countryside, living as ever. Hey, he's even over 100 years old. I mean, this is Japan, after all. Did she see through my lie? Yuka-san, what? Let Kurumi help. Huh? Kurumi's saying she'll help you out. Because if it's something that's that important, then you absolutely need to find it. Isn't that right? Right? Yeah. In the end, Kurumi-chan helps me look for the bell. Hey, is this really alright? I mutter those words in my mind as I turn towards the direction of the harbor. And thus the search for the bell begins. I walk along the beach relying on my vague memories. My eyes are as wide as saucers as I scan the beach. Shells and seaweed are washed ashore by the waves only to be dragged back in. Occasionally, I'll carefully excavate something buried in the sand. The steady search continues to go on and on for nearly an hour. I can't find the bell. We've searched so much, but we can't find it. Just FYI, I cannot fast forward here. Has history really changed after all? I mean, I can hit the spacebar really fast, but the fast forward function is not working, and I have a setting on it that's if I haven't read it yet, then I can't fast forward. Did someone else pick it up? Or is it still at the bottom of the sea? Bad thoughts flood my head, leaving me with no room to think of anything else. Ha! I let out an involuntary sigh and stretch myself out, my back tired from being bent this whole time. I look around in an attempt to ignore my feelings. A short distance away from me, Kurumi-chan slowly paces around while holding 2 bent tree branches in her hands. Could it be that she's trying to use dowsing? But I don't think there's any meaning in using tree branches. Even so, Kurumi-chan is desperately searching. Gradually, I feel my chest grow hotter and hotter. She's doing everything she can to search for it, even though it's something someone else dropped. Inspired by her actions, I resume my search once again. Now that I think about it, I feel like this happened in the past. I was searching for something very, very important. That's right, at that time I was looking for something very important. That time, huh? What was I looking for? I can't remember. And we don't actually know because we were Yuka, we were Makoto. It feels like a rising bubble that stops just before I can reach the water's surface. It's a memory of mine, but I barely remember anything. However, there are 2 things alone that I clearly remember. That object was something I considered to be a treasure. In the end, I never found it. A slightly cold wind blows by. And at that time, found it! What? Found it, hey Kurumi, found it, Yuka-san. Kurumi-chan runs over to me, one of her hands stretched out. She's holding something in that hand. Maybe this is not the bell. Said object shines in the sunlight. Oh, it is the bell, okay. Hey, is this it? This is it, right, Yuka-san? This is it? This is it, Kurumi-chan. Really? What a relief. Kurumi worked as hard as she could to find it. Yes, you're right. Good girl, Kurumi-chan. I gently pat Kurumi-chan on the head. I take the bell from Kurumi. The bell lands in my palm, making a high-pitched sound. With this, I can save. Huh? I would save the game, but I know it's not a pun. This is not DDLC. She's saying, with this I can save Makoto. If you didn't find that memento, you wouldn't be able to save someone from what, death? Yeah. Who? That's Kurumi-chan looks at me with an inquisitive gaze and screams, Who is it? Who is it? My great-grandma. That's a lie. My great-grandma died 3 years ago. Okay. Okay. After Makoto leaves, Kurumi-chan and I head towards the gift shop in the shopping district. We arrive much later than the last time. Nevertheless, we have fun shopping just like last time. Even though it's my second time, I still buy a large amount of stuff. Okay. Right now I finished paying at the counter with a large sake bottle I'm carrying in both my hands being placed into a paper bag. I plan to have it shipped back home via delivery service. Kurumi-chan is now at the counter buying something. While waiting for Kurumi-chan, I decided to look around the shop's interior one more time. Suddenly my eye is caught by countless keychains dangling down from a nearby shelf. I don't know why it doesn't let me fast forward, this seems the same. Oh, that's right. This is where I bought that keychain last time. I didn't buy it for anyone else, it was a souvenir for me. I approach the group of keychains as if they're luring me in. And then in order to find my target, I check every single one of the keychains. Huh, what? But the keychain I bought back then isn't there. Is this the wrong shop? No, it's not it. It was definitely this one. I might have overlooked it. I look for it one more time, but someone else bought it first because they went shopping later. But I can't find it no matter how many times I look. The keychain with the cat mascot attached to it, I can't find in Nekopian. Excuse me? Do you have a keychain with a fat cat mascot attached to it here? I asked the passing store clerk. There's no way that they'll know what I'm talking about. Even so, it doesn't hurt to ask. Huh? Oh, that keychain? That's it. That's definitely it. Where is this it? Where is this it? We're sold out. Sold out? It's kind of a rare keychain, you see. If it's not there, then that means we're run out of stock. Thanks for waiting. We bought so much that they gave Kurumi some postage stamps for free. What's wrong, Yuka-san? With all our business concluded, we leave the shop. I walk with my shoulders slumped, heartbroken. Kurumi is at my side, clearly worried about me. I feel depressed, as if there's a gaping wide hole in my heart. It's a tormenting feeling of loss. It's probably because of that keychain. Hey, what's wrong? You've been totally down since the gift shop. That's not true. Yes, it is. Kurumi's never seen you look this depressed before. It's about the same as you were on Moon Beach when you were looking for that lost object of yours. Lost object. An important thing I couldn't find. My lost treasure. The bubble finally reached the top of the water. The sleeping memory within me having been revived. That's it. That's why I wanted that keychain so much. Huh? We go out onto the paved road. While doing so, we walk while talking about trivial things. And then you see Oni-chan. Kurumi-chan laughs loudly. She's having fun laughing at this random story. But I still can't laugh like Kurumi-chan. Because I remembered. Because I came to this seminar camp. I remembered too much of my past. One by one. Back then in that memory, I had talked to someone. I was sad, unstable, and felt like I had been abandoned. Hey, Yuka-san? And what is it? That keychain was sold out. Was it really that special? Because ever since then, you've been acting really weird. I stop walking. Kurumi-chan comes to a halt. For a little while, I'm a bit hesitant about whether or not I should talk about it. That keychain was, but then I make up my mind to tell her. That keychain was kinda the splitting image of an important treasure from when I was young. A small cat keychain. The cat on the keychain was called Nin Nin Neko Pian. Even though it was small, it wasn't cute at all. It had this scratch on its forehead, shaped like a cross or a shuriken, and it was pretty ugly. Now that scratch was exactly like a shuriken. So you mean the Nin Nin part was its name came from ninja? That's right. That cat keychain wasn't cute in the slightest, but it was a precious treasure to me. It's a very, very important treasure that I received from a special person. I attached it to my backpack and would go to school with it. But then, one day I lost it. Huh? In the past, when I was in first grade in elementary school, I had no sense of direction, so I would frequently get lost. That day, I was lost too. I was returning from school and I hurried on home, as there was a TV show I really wanted to see that I had to make it in time for. But when it seemed like I wouldn't make it in time, I thought to use a shortcut. It was a shortcut my friend told me about the previous day. But I didn't recognize that street at all, so before I knew it, I had wandered astray. I was an idiot. I guess you could say I didn't know my limits. In the end, I got lost and forgot all about the TV show. I continued to wander around these unknown places while crying like a baby. But I came to my senses, and before I knew it, I was standing in front of my house. And suddenly I looked at my backpack, and the kitty keychain was gone. Yeah, I must have dropped it while I was lost. When I was wandering through the back alleys, my backpack rubbed against the walls, which is most likely when it happened. But at that time, I didn't suspect that the cat didn't come all the way home with me. Did you look for it after that? Of course I did. The next day, I brought along a friend who knew that shortcut well. For hours and hours, we searched the area until it became pitch black outside. But we didn't find it. When the time came for me to go home, I had lost that small cat. And now I've lost it again. That store clerk said they had that fat cat chain, but once again I lost it as a result of the bell. Huh? Didn't you say earlier that those two keychains were the splitting image of each other? Yeah, I did. But the first one was a small kitty and the second one was a fat kitty. So they don't resemble each other at all, do they? When you put it that way, that's true. That's true. But they're similar. When I first saw it, I definitely thought that they resembled each other. Even if their appearances are different. Yuka-san? That's right. Even though they don't look alike, they're still splitting images. I sit down on the living room sofa and let my thoughts wander. I think it took us 15 minutes to arrive at the lodge. Just as I predicted, Saki and Haruka's quarrel never happened. Oh, okay. Looking at this I could fast forward through a few lines. Looking at this very peaceful scene causes the shock of losing the keychain to fade a little. A new line. Because you're depressed about the kitty keychain, right? So when you manage to buy the keychain, I forgot what Krumi says. Huh? Bullseye, huh? Krumi thought it would be like this, so tada, it's Krumi. Okay. She pulls a folded paper out of her pocket. What's this? A kitty. It's an origami kitty that Krumi made. Krumi wanted to make a replacement for Yuka-san's treasure, so she put all her effort into making this yesterday afternoon. She just forgot to give it to you then. Now that I think about it, Krumi-chan was folding origami before dinner. Here. Thank you. I nervously take the origami cat she's holding out. Don't lose this one this time, okay? My heart leaps loudly. Next time, don't lose it? Yuka-san? Don't lose it. The sound of the wavelets steadily grow more and more distant. There's one more memory that I'd forgotten. It was on that field trip in 9th grade, the night the two of us gazed at that starry sky. He finished telling me the story of Jiminy, and then... It's starting to get cold, shall we go back? Hey, Yuka? No, do you still have it? Did you forget? About what? The cat keychain. I'll give this to you so you don't cry anymore. Do you remember? That was you? No way. You can't believe it? I immediately knew that you were the girl from back then. Well, you did tell me your name back then. My name is Yuka Kawashima. In the world where with the purple sky, the crying girl told someone her name. Well, it's only natural, that was ages ago. So you really don't have it? That keychain was very important to me, but I lost it a while back. I did my best to look, but I couldn't find it. I see. I'm so sorry. No, it couldn't be helped. The next time I give you a present, I'll make sure it's a bit bigger, so that way you won't lose it. Please don't lose the next one. San? Yuka-san? Hey, Yuka-san. Kurumi-chan. What's up with you? You spaced out all of a sudden. No, it's nothing. Is the kitty too much? Was Kurumi sticking her nose where it didn't belong? Huh? Did you... You don't have to push yourself to take it if you don't want it, it's fine. What are you saying? I'm very happy about what you did. Really? Yep. So you didn't look away from... I didn't look away from you this time, did I? Hehehe. I gratefully accept your gift. By the way, Kurumi's got one more present for you. Okay. Drink this and cheer up. Oh, could it be that you're surprised? Okay. I slowly take the origami cat out of my pocket. My gaze shifts from the cat to the door leading to Makoto's room. There's no sign that he'll rise soon. Okay. Is this the same? So try go good ending first, I guess. Yep. Okay. Oh right. Forgot to give this to you. He says this as he pulls out a small paper bag from his pocket. It's the same kind of paper bag as the one Kurumi had gotten from his souvenir shop the other day. What's this? Makoto just looks at me and jerks his chin as if to say, open and you'll see. I tear off the tape and carefully open it. Huh? It's a keychain. Attached to it is a fat cat mascot that's big enough to place in my palm. Do you still have it? I lost the first one. On that day when you were busy searching for the bell, I bought this before going to Moon Beach. Right out from under you. I lost the second one. I'm giving it to you now because, but the first one was a small kitty and the second one was a fat kitty, so they don't resemble each other at all, do they? Those two keychains don't resemble each other in the slightest. Think of it as a reconciliation present for 2 days ago. Next time I give you a present, I'll make sure it's a bit bigger, so that way you won't lose it. So that I won't lose it. So that I won't lose sight of it. Makoto? The boy I was talking about earlier. You really don't resemble him at all. Except you do. That has nothing to do with me. I'm me. But I won't leave you behind. I know. Okay. Oh. The same thing. So that's both of them. To go back to the choices. So this one here. Do you know what a time paradox is? Looks like you walk or carry the shopping bags. Pizza. Okay. So that is all of the endings now. I guess they lumped these together in the original file, so this is just appendix, and that's just appendix bad, or bad appendix. They don't differentiate A and B in the original, but they do between these two and these two in the original. So that's why there's 3 extras. They list grand finale as an ending. They list Azumi epilogue as an ending, and then they split this into A and B. But I have CGs missing. And on top of that, I have scenes missing. So I suppose I'm not done yet. I have to find these missing scenes and these missing CGs somehow. That's not going to be easy. But I'll do that later. So I'll end this one here.